In Canada's most important western port, Vancouver, a sparkling city surrounded by water and mountains, temperate and home to 1.5 million people. The Canadian approaches from the east on tracks that lead directly into Vancouver's Main Street Station, a great old railway station built in 1919. Here the passengers leave the train. We are at the end of the line. People pass through the station, onto the central clock, a fixture in any rail terminal, and emerge in front of the station, ready to explore the town. Vancouver is Canada's great West Coast city. It is a modern city. Almost everything is new. It began its explosive growth in only the past 30 years. It is Canada's link to the Far East, and the population includes large groups of Asian immigrants. The Hotel Vancouver stands in the heart of town. It is one of Vancouver's largest hotels and one of the last of the great railway chateau hotels to be built. It is impressive and gracious and still a center of activity in the heart of Vancouver. This is a world-class city. It boasts spectacular new architecture, a vibrant economic base, culture, recreation, a high standard of living, and compared to other cities of similar size, urban problems that are manageable and not out of hand. The population represents a mix of everything Canada has to offer: immigrants from Asia and Europe, and Canadians who have moved here from the prairies and the east, some for the mild weather, others for culture or jobs, and many for just the excitement a city like this provides. The Granville Street Bridge passes over an island almost in the center of town. This is Granville Island. For years, it was purely industrial, filled with warehouses and the shipping trade. Today, those businesses still exist, but developers have also created shops, markets, entertainment, and endless restaurants and cafes. This is one of Vancouver's most popular spots. It has become an active center for street entertainers and musicians, and many people of Vancouver will make their way here on Saturdays and Sundays to buy fresh food and fish at the public market on the pier. Vancouver began here in Gastown, a turn-of-the-century part of town that began to develop once the railroad arrived. In the center of Gastown is a historic town clock, the steam clock. It operates by, of all things, steam, city steam that is pumped under the streets as a public utility. The clock, pendulum, and weights are powered this way, and 4 times an hour, the chime sounds using wheezing old steam whistles. It's a curious attraction and very interesting to watch. Canada Place stands on the water next to the old Canadian Pacific Station. This is a sprawling new pier that was built for Vancouver's Expo and today acts as the terminal for the nearly 24 different cruise ships that sail from Vancouver to Alaska during the summer months. The ships sail west through the harbor and under the Lions Gate Bridge. This suspension bridge is one of Vancouver's best-known sights. It links downtown with all of the communities on the North Shore. It is one of Vancouver's busiest thoroughfares. The road over the bridge passes through the center of Stanley Park. This is Vancouver's best-known public park. It is only minutes from downtown and is filled with people on weekends enjoying the outdoors. There are marinas, bike paths, jogging trails, and lots of different things to do. The park's best-known attraction is a colorful group of totem poles. These brightly colored totems have stood in the park for a very long time. They are authentic and represent various Indian tribes scattered throughout BC. The figures on these totem poles represent families, events, and the leaders of each clan. They do not, in most cases, represent gods or spirituality. They were carved to record the stories, the heritage, and the history of a people, not as idols of worship, which is commonly thought.